Alright, this is bugging me. I know this went down on the weekend last weekend, but everybody asked me, are you watching the McGregor Khabib fight? And I'm like, no. No. So Fallout. Khabib's threatened to leave UFC. And here's what I don't understand. So, I've already started. It's already hurting my brain. You have an incident where the bus gets attacked last summer, and I was very outspoken in a video about how stupid I thought that was, how criminal I thought that was, and how bad it makes the whole company look. Now you have a fight between the two, finally. What happens after? Wrestling. But bad wrestling. These schmozzes inside the ring, it's dumb. It's Bush League. UFC is a company that's worth a lot of money. They don't need this crap. But it generates, right? It generates views. So Dana, being a good businessman, just like how he always said, oh, we'll never have a woman in the ring. Oh, there aren't enough good women. There aren't enough women. And then Ronda Rousey came along and he's like, and she's the main event. Because he got that she drew. And that was a big deal, but now that Ronda's gone, and it feels like the women, even though they may be tougher than Ronda was, it's not the same kind of drawing power, because they don't build up this big mystique about them now, whether it's Misha Tate or whoever, right? I do follow UFC. Stuff like this makes it harder for me to deal with it. So, Khabib came out, is this today or yesterday? It's today. Crap. He came out today on Instagram. Instagram, of all things. We take all of our fights now to Instagram and Twitter, because that's what real tough guys do. They were talking about this with the NBA, and how the new generation now, they all pick fights on Twitter, and they all talk tough on Twitter, and then they get out on the basketball court. And old school basketball players basically challenge them to a fight. And these kids that are all keyboard warriors on Instagram and Twitter back down from the old guard when they're actually confronted face-to-face. And it's tough. So Khabib said, I would like to address UFC. Why didn't you fire anybody when their team attacked the bus and injured a couple people? They could have killed someone there. Why no one says anything about insulting my homeland, religion, nation, and family? He's right. He's right. What the hell? When that bus incident took place, and a bus is attacked by Connor and the cronies, what the hell? Now after the fight, Khabib's people are like, hey, it's revenge time, not just in the octagon, but all around it. And now it's like, they're all fired because they did it publicly. Because they embarrassed Dana publicly. See, you can attack somebody in the streets, just as long as nobody tapes it, it didn't happen. You can attack a bus, it's fine. This was public. And of course, they're holding Khabib's money, and Khabib said, I hope you choke on it, basically. I'm paraphrasing, but basically he said, Dana, you can keep my money, and I hope you choke on it. And I don't understand this. And here's why. UFC has some very good fighters in it. I would even give you this. Some of the best fighters in the world. Some of the toughest SOBs that have ever walked the planet have fought in that UFC octagon. And it's a cartoon. It's a bad cartoon. And honestly, Dana, the smart move here might be to book a rematch and just bring in all that money, because you can just print money with it. But for the long-term health of the company, I would suspend both. Just forget it. But of course, I would have come down a little harder on Connor than his not at all after the bus incident. But I don't understand this. So I get criticized for watching this, right? Oh, that's so rigged and so staged, and it's so stupid. Yeah. So these guys all go out and they fight, and then the bus is attacked. And so these guys never came face to face until they fought in the ring. Ever? They're employed by the same company, or like they have like the weigh-in where they get like nose to nose. Like, to me, this feels highly staged. I'm dead serious. This whole thing to me seems highly staged. Because I'm talking about it. Everybody's talking about it. Right? This escalating violence. And where's Dana? He's staring at a wall somewhere. Some of you would have seen the picture on Twitter that shows Dana in the background. It looks like he's staring at the wall. I picture him as like trying to pick a fight with the wall, that he's had a little something. Got into some Barry Bonds stuff or whatever. I know Barry Bonds isn't in the UFC, but I find it really strange because to me it all seems rigged. So Conor attacks the bus. Now Khabib's people are out picking fights with Conor's people, and Conor's people are picking fights. Like this sets up, you know, Conor Khabib, the rematch. Wah! Meanwhile, Conor on Twitter and Instagram is like, hey, rematch? That was a good fight. Okay. All right. Fine. All right. Okay. Now, for people who watch UFC, it might be, hey, this is going to be awesome. I can't wait till they fight again. But for people like myself, who UFC's trying to draw in, who aren't fans of UFC, we look at this and go, I'll just watch wrestling. I can watch any of these guys just, you know, beat the hell out of each other, and I can appreciate what they're doing, how they're fighting, but they're not fighting at the same time. I can see where guys protect themselves and where they protect their opponents. And I can see where things are set up, but it's okay. How anytime somebody comes out for a sneak attack, their music precedes them. Which is really strange, and wrestling didn't used to do that. And when they started doing that, I laughed pretty hard the first few times. And now it's like, whatever. But I get it. They want the crowd pop before the guy comes out. And I get that. And it feels sort of like UFC's kind of doing the same thing. So, do I think Khabib's actually going to quit? I wouldn't be surprised if Dana's given him that line. I wouldn't be surprised if when all this chaos is unfolding, that Dana's not back there counting his money going, man, this is awesome. And then pulling Khabib aside and saying, look, you go ahead and you tell them that I'm holding your money. Here's your cut of the pay. Tell them I'm holding your money. And I'm going to cancel that fight that your buddy's in there. And you need to go off about that. We're going to have the fight later. Don't worry about it. And I know there's people who watch UFC that would say, oh, Dana White wouldn't do that. Dana White watches WWE. There is a relationship between UFC and WWE at this point. And no, UFC is not wrestling. But I think they understand how that's spectacle. And I'm going all the way back to WrestleMania 3. When Andre the Giant pulls the shirt off Hogan and breaks the cross off his neck, that felt real. That challenge for the title felt real. And maybe Dana White's looking and going, I got all these fighters and these great fights, but I need to have a spectacle. I need a big spectacle. I need something that's going to have everybody talking, and I need to have all the press talking about it. And this is that spectacle. We've seen little minor skirmishes and arguments between UFC fighters before, and that's fine. There were certain ladies that would fight Ronda Rousey, and Ronda would disrespect them straight to their face, and vice versa. This feels different. This feels very highly staged. And I know I said I wouldn't talk any more about UFC and that I would back off and I wouldn't talk about it, but I can't not mention this because it feels, yeah, staged is the only word I can use to describe it. Because honestly, people should be fired. And when they say, oh, when Dana says, oh, people have been arrested, I don't believe him. I don't. Conor's people were still there, and I guarantee you Khabib's people will still be there. I wouldn't be surprised at a rematch that Khabib comes out by himself, and during the match, his people try to come out that have been banned from ringside, or from octagon side, so to speak, and then you see security trying to hold them back, and you got some schmozzle going on in between rounds, and the crowd's going insane. I would not be surprised. Because again, this feels very rigged. The fight itself is not. Khabib genuinely wins the fight. Conor genuinely passes out. I believe the result is real. Just all of the stuff before, all the stuff after, all the chaos. To me, it looks manufactured. Because I watch manufactured chaos all the time. And I think Dana White does too. But I'd be interested to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Again, I am no expert on UFC. I am just as an outsider looking this, and I'm very skeptical on any criminal charges or any threats of guys actually quitting or being fired. I think it is all to hype up the next fight. And when that next fight happens, again, it's like, I think with Conor and Merriweather, I think they went, okay, we just need a spectacle. We don't need a good fight. But if we can get both, thus Conor and Khabib is there. Because they realize if they have both, the spectacle and the good fight, they are rolling in money. And Dana's rolling in money. So, again, what do you think? Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.